Hey, best friends. Welcome to the Bestie Advice Podcast. Where we discuss all things relationships.
Hey, besties out there. Welcome to another episode of the Bestie Advice. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
It is your host, Karan Hayes, and my bestie, Dr. Irene Abrams.
Hey, y'all.
We first want to start off by saying happy holidays, happy holidays, happy holidays.
Yes.
We have already experienced our Thanksgiving holiday, and we are embarking upon our Christmas holiday.
Yes.
And we are just so excited because this is a time that we spend as far as with our family, with our friends, time of reconnection, rekindling relationships. You know, we haven't seen, may have not seen our brothers and our sisters or our aunts and our uncles and many of our friends. And usually this is the time that we all kind of get together and come back together and spend time with one another. So this year, 2022, has been an awesome year. And I can say an awesome year because I am including everything, and everything we should be giving thanks, whether we're having a good day or we're having a not so good day. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, but thank God our good days have outweighed all of our bad days throughout this year. Do you agree, girlfriend?
I agree. Oh my gosh, that's getting good. You kind of preaching now. I love it.
So, you know, I'm not trying to say that to be, you know, all churchy and deep, but I have come to the realization that yes, my good days have outweighed my bad days. I'm not sitting there counting down, well, this day was bad and that day was bad. I just thank God I can say I was in the day. So on this particular episode, we just want to share with you all the lessons that we have learned throughout this 2022. We did kind of kick this off on last year with our lessons learned of 2021, you know, coming out of the pandemic. With this particular year, when I really think about it, this is like the first year we can kind of say we're a little bit past that pandemic era. You know, everything is fully open. You have the option to wear a mask. You don't have to wear a mask. You have that option, or whatever. So things are kind of getting back to the norm, as they would say. But again, just a lot of lessons that we have learned, and we want to share them with you all, hoping that they can be an encouragement to you all, hoping that, you know, what we've learned is not something that you may have to experience. When I say have to experience, some lessons were, you know, tough lessons. So just by taking our advice or taking our experience, you can kind of make some changes in your life so you don't have to kind of go down that same road. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to kick it off with the first one. And I am just going to say it like this. I can only pray for and not change people. I can pray for people, but I cannot change them. That's one thing that I had to learn the hard way this year. Changing people is not my job. Changing people, it's not your job. That is the job of the good Lord. Yes, it is. Even though, you know, we want the best for people, we want them to have the best options out there, and we're giving them our advice, we're giving them godly wisdom. But at the end of the day, people have to make up their own mind. So the only thing we really can do is actually pray for them. We can point them in the right direction, and then we have to allow God to actually make the change in them. So I'm going to also say this too with that. Stop pushing people that don't want to be changed. Again, you can pray for them, you can encourage them, but that is all that you can do. You cannot change anyone. We can change our personal situations, we can change ourselves, but we cannot change our children. We cannot change our spouses. We cannot change our friends. We can't even change that boss of ours as badly as we want to. We cannot. The only thing we can do is pray for them and point them in the right direction.
That's good. That is good. That is so true. Wow.
Because you kind of get caught up in it. And then here's the thing, when you're trying to change someone, a lot of times, and they don't make the change, then guess who you're disappointed in? Yes, you're disappointed in them, but you're disappointed in yourself as well, because you're kind of like, well, what did I do? Did I not tell them the right way? You know, did I not give them the right advice?
Exactly.
Now I'm getting down on myself, and it's like, that's not my responsibility. That's not my responsibility. The only thing that I am responsible for doing is, one, telling them what God said, two, giving them sound wisdom, advice, and praying for them. That's it. That's all. Dropping the seed and keeping it moving.
Because you're mad when they don't change or operate the way you feel like they should.
Big mad, not little mad. We big mad.
Yeah, you big mad.
Yes.
You're
yes.
like, wait a minute, you've given them so much grace and so much time, but they haven't changed. And so now you like, I can't change them. I haven't changed me. So that's a great lesson.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna write that down. I like that. Wow. Well, in the vein of that, like people and kind of friendship, one of the biggest lessons I think that I learned, it just took me by surprise, was the death of my friend Monica. I think looking at 2022, she passed away in March. It was so early in the year. It just kind of took the wind out of me because it was very unexpected. Yes. And so one of the lessons I really learned that she really taught me was to really cherish my friends, cherish the people that are close to me. And I would have to say that in 2020 and in 2021, and then leading up to her passing in 2022, even though it was COVID, she really still drew very close to me. It didn't matter that we were in a pandemic. She was always calling me, checking on me. She was like, I don't care if we have to sit in my backyard and wear masks. Like, I want to see you. I want to talk to you. Like, she didn't like, the distance. And, in hindsight, it's always 2020. I didn't think that she would be gone so soon. I would be like, oh, we can, it's the pandemic, but she would still make time and she would still make the effort. And just, I thought about the last 6 months before her passing. We spent a lot of time together. Yeah. And it made me realize that, I had talked to her, hours before she had really, passed. I had talked to her, and she was really very instrumental in always like, okay, I love you. I love you, and it made me realize, like, the people that I love, and, like you, Kieran, people that are my friends and I love them. I'm very, very introverted, and she was very extroverted. And so she tried to pull that out of me, but it made me realize that life is short. And so we should cherish our friendships and spend time with our friends and tell our friends that we love them. And, people that really mean a lot to you, you don't have time to, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'm busy today. Stop then. Call your friends, check on your friends, the people that you call your friends, the people that you love, because you never know. And it's important for them and you to really always be on, such a good page, for a lack of a better word. And so the good thing about, her passing is that we just loved each other. I knew that she loved me, and she knew that I loved her. And a week before she went to the hospital, she gave me a Valentine's Day gift. And that was the kind of person she was. She said, I'll have a gift for you. And I really cherish that. So for you guys out there, a huge lesson is take the time to spend with your friends. Absolutely. Take the time to spend with your sister, your brother, your mom, your dad. Like, just stop. And take the time and be intentional, and don't get off that phone without telling them that you love them. And if you can take the time to spend with them, do it. Like, I love that that Kieran and I, we're very intentional. Put the date on the calendar. Because life happens and people get busy. It does. But put the date on the calendar. Like Kieran and I and our families, we had breakfast, and it was so refreshing. And sometimes you get so bogged up and you're so tunnel vision, focused on life. But it's important to show the people around you that you love them. And so I
Yes.
think because that took the wind out of me, I will never let that happen to me where I don't spend time with the people that matter the most.
Yes.
Because that's all you have is memories.
Mhm.
So I want people to remember, like, Irene was too busy to call me. She was too busy
Right.
to talk to me.
Yeah.
She was too busy to go to lunch with me. She was too busy to
Yeah.
go to dinner with me. It's like, I
Yeah.
really want to be intentional about just spending time with my friends. So take the time with
Mhm.
the people that you love and the people that
Yes.
you cherish. And
Yes.
then on the flip side, my second lesson learned is, really being careful about who you spend time with and who you call your friends. When you really look at it, if I'm investing my time, my energy, my
Yeah.
money,
Yeah.
I don't need snakes around me. I don't
I
need,
hear you.
bottom feeders around me,
Mhm.
chickens around me. I need people to match my level. I need you to
Exactly.
be intentional. I want friends that love me genuinely,
Yes.
that can tell me,
Mhm.
girl, you go, that
Mhm.
can tell me when I'm wrong, like, hold on, wait a minute. But I don't, if I feel,
Reel it back in.
really don't need to do too much.
Yeah.
And so I think, it was a twofold lesson. You
Yeah.
know, people like Monica, they do not come by very easy. She was
Yeah.
a rare gem, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Kiran always says, if you could find you one friend, and I'm so blessed to have several friends.
Yeah.
And so it's just important, people, to really go back and look at the podcast that we did on green flags and red
Yes.
flags. And
Absolutely.
it's a lesson that you can learn, and that your friends that are your ride or dies, hold on to them and show
Yes.
them that you love them. But then be intentional. That negative energy, when people ain't feeling you. I've been so outraged by this Shaquilla Robinson case. I'm
Yes.
so glad they just arrested the first person. She went out of the country with people that she thought she could
She
trust.
thought was her friends.
They were plotting
Yeah.
against her. And
Mhm.
so it just shows that discernment
Yes.
is key, and being prayerful and
Yes.
making sure that the right people, are around you. And
Yes.
so I think my lesson, my one and two, were twofold around relationships.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's really what I learned. The top two things that I learned this
Yeah.
year,
Yes.
Kiran.
Yes. Yes. And I do want to honor Monica on here. I can really, really say that Monica was a good friend to Irene. I can say that. Now, it takes a lot to get into Irene's, inner circle. Irene is a very she's a people person. She might not think that, but she's a people person. People draw to her, like they easily draw to her. She has such a sweet, sweet spirit, but trying to get in,
Right.
it's like pump your brakes. You trying to come too far. So when she started sharing with me about her relationship with Monica, I'm like, okay, Monica got to be like somebody special. And then I was able to, kind of get to know her, and I realized like, hey, Monica, she's a real good person. She's funny, she's down to earth, and she pulled a lot out of Irene, a lot of good things out of her. She pulled her out of her comfort zone.
Definitely did that. Definitely.
Yes, but Monica, again, we honor her. We honor her for who she was, not only to us, but just to the kingdom as a whole.
Gosh,
to the kingdom as a whole. Okay, so my second lesson learned, kind of still staying in that same vein of relationships and spending time. It's living in the moment. I know that's like a cliche. You got to live in the moment. But when I really thought about that, that's like a real thing. And I noticed it one day, Jasmine and James. So my favorite time to go out and to be with my family is to actually go out and have breakfast. They're like, oh, why don't we do lunch? Why don't we do dinner? No, I'm good. But let's go to breakfast. So
you love breakfast, and I
yes,
love that.
I do. Yes, I do.
I do too.
So my husband and daughter and I, we went out to breakfast, and this was a couple of months when my daughter was home from school. And I just happened to look down, and I was on my phone, and I took one look up. Jasmine was on her phone. James was on his phone. My husband next to him, he's on his phone. Silence, complete silence at the table, because everybody was like this. But we're here to spend time together. So I politely put my phone down. My daughter noticed that I did that. So she looked up, she looked at my husband and my son. She put her phone down. Now, it wasn't quite so easy for the men folk. We had to actually say, hello, 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 we're here.
Right.
Let's be here together. And then Jazzy just started asking all of these questions, just kind of like open dialogue, like things we hadn't talked about, subjects we hadn't even talked about, because we were in the moment. And then another thing, as far as my sister and I, during the spring and the summer of this year, we had started walking, as far as with my aunt. Mm-hmm. We get together after work and we're walking, no phones. First of all, you're walking, okay?
Right,
so no phones. But then it was a chance where it was my sister and I, and no phones. And we're on this track, this walking track. We're on there a good hour and a half. And I said, we're talking about childhood, talking about my dad, talking about my mom, vacations, things that we want to do, because we were in the moment. Yes, we were focusing on walking, but we were focusing on reconnecting, not even realizing that's what we were doing. We're reconnecting. So just be in the moment, live in the moment, be all in, if I can say it like that. Make sure that you are all in. You just never know if that chance will come around again, especially with your family. And another example is actually on Thanksgiving Day. We had just gotten up, that morning or whatever. We had all ate like a light breakfast. We were going to my aunt's house for dinner. And one of our favorite family movies is Creed. So we were watching Creed 2. Oh, okay. So we put it on or whatever. We all sat on the couch together. Now, usually when we're watching a movie, my husband and I, we on the couch, Jazzy and James, they're sitting in chairs or whatever, like right next to us, or they may like be sitting on the floor, but we were all on the couch, all with our blankets. Nobody had a phone. Nobody was checking messages. We were just in the moment. The only time we picked the phone up was when I said, hey, James, take a picture in pajamas, hair wrapped all up, but we were in the moment, just being present. Again, family, friends out there, besties out there, be in the moment. It's not just a cliche. It's a real thing. Spend that quality time with your family and with your friends when you are there. Put the phone down. If you're out to dinner, put the phone down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. And
yes,
it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
We've really been practicing that as well, just really making sure that we spend time together as a family. And Mitchell and I have been very intentional here lately.
Yeah.
Like we cut our time in the evenings. We went up an hour. Like we used to say, okay, no matter what, we meet in the bed at 11.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And even that hasn't been enough time. And talking about our dreams, our goals, our future, reconnecting, laughing about the past, and talking about our day. And we realized like that wasn't enough. So that is so true. Just that being intentional and making sure like we're not missing the time with each other because we're on the phone, and making sure we spend the time that we need to spend with our son, and talking to him and figuring out what's going on with him. And like I said, all of that quality time, like I said before earlier, just really being intentional about being with the people that you love, because life is so short. It really is. Like yesterday, my mother-in-law, she was in a car accident and she was fine, nothing, she was hit. But just that quick, I was in a meeting and she texted me a picture of her car. She goes, I'm okay, but I sent a picture of her car. So I'm like, oh my God. So I put myself on, I turned the camera off, I called her, and she's like, I'm okay, this is what happened. But in a blink of an eye, thank you, God. She was covered by the blood. In a blink of an eye, you just don't know. So you have time to spend with that person. That's why I said, tell people that you love them. Try to spend time with them. We're all busy, but like you said, put the phone down and really connect and bond with that person. Because you just never know. So I definitely love that lesson. That is a great lesson. And you guys take that into 2023.
And you know what I think? I just want to add on. I think people, we kind of pride ourselves on being able to multitask. So a
Yeah,
lot
no,
of
I do.
times, that's what we're doing. It's like, oh, I'm watching TV and I'm writing a grocery list. Now, I should be watching I said I was gonna watch TV. Let me sit down and watch, but I'm here. Like, oh, wait a minute, let me send these text messages. Oh, I didn't realize she texted me. So it's like, we pride ourselves on multitasking, but that shouldn't have to be a multitask when we're with our family. That's just a task. The task is spend time with the people that you're around at that particular time.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do. Another lesson that I learned was sometimes just be quiet. Everything doesn't deserve a response. You don't have to say everything that you're thinking, everything that you're feeling. Just be quiet.
Yeah.
And sometimes for me, I am very much like a solution-driven person. Like, I'm talking to people, I'm like, what are we solving for? I'm solving the whole time you're talking, right?
Right.
And a lot of that has to do with me being the oldest. Okay. Hey, but it's in my personality too. So, but everybody's not like that, and everybody doesn't appreciate that. So, and then my opinion doesn't always have to be told. And so I learned.
Child, you are all over here. Yes, I hear you.
But I'm saying I learned that I don't have to say everything. Sometimes I'm just quiet. Today at work we have we have devotion, and I was purposefully quiet. I'm normally like, I'm gonna give my opinion. And they was trying to pull it out of me today. But I was like, no, what everybody else said was good. I agree. Just really learning how to study to be quiet. Just
quick to listen, slow to speak.
Amen. There you go, friend. There you go, friend. Slow to speak, because a fool talks all the time.
Yeah.
And a wise person really listens. And I want to be clear with my words, and I don't want to always be the one to speak up in my nature. And I know, like I said, I'm always solving. So when people come to me while they're talking, I'm trying to solve, and I'll say, well, what are we solving for?
Yeah.
What are we doing? And sometimes people don't want that, or I told you, Caroline, sometimes it comes off across like you're a know-it-all and all this. And I don't want that,
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna be quiet, even in my marriage. I want to tell Mitchell, and sometimes be like, just I'm
right.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
I'm good, and so I think that it takes great restraint sometimes.
It does.
But it shows wisdom. And I don't want to be a fool, as the Bible is what the Bible is saying.
Yes.
I want to use wisdom. I want to be wise. So when I do speak, people want to hear what I have to say, and it's wisdom.
That's good.
It's just not foolishness. So
that's good.
So yeah. That's my lesson in 2023.
No.
I'm talking so much.
No, it's funny because one of mine was, I don't always have to give my 2 cents.
See?
Because it's like, you feel like, well, they need to know this. Well, you need to know exactly how I feel. Whether that's, I'm going to let you have it or whatever. You need to know how I feel. But what I've noticed with myself, and when I say God has like illuminated it so, whereas, especially with my husband and I, we'll be having a conversation and I'll say something real quick, and then I'll turn to the window or I turn away, and all I can hear is like, shut up, Karen. Shut up, Karen. Just shut up. Just shut up, Karen. And I'm like, Dad, I shouldn't have said that. Why did you even have to say that? You didn't even have to respond. You should have just closed your mouth. Shut your mouth. Just be quiet. You don't always have to give your opinion. And that's in any situation, even as far as with us at church, or whatever, being like over a ministry. I don't always have to give my opinion.
Right.
Let me you're going to have to ask me.
Exactly. And
you gotta ask me.
And that happened to me. I went to another school. A group of us had to go to another school to, we was helping them with their accreditation. And so I went, and it was a group of us, and then it was people from different schools, but it was a group from my school. But anyway, we went, and it was only like maybe one or two other people that came with me that looked like me. Everybody else looked different.
Yeah.
And so they was talking or whatever, and I was initially, because they had brought me on as the curriculum specialist. And so when they started talking about it, and I initially was going to interject and say, oh, well, but I didn't say anything. I let the conversation play out. I didn't speak on it. I didn't say anything. And when we got down to it and we started working, they said, oh, some girl that's supposed to be here, that's a curriculum specialist. I don't know, who she is. They were looking at the sheet, and they said, Irene or something. And so my coworker said, Dr. Irene Abrams. I'm like, yeah, where is she at? I was like, oh, that's me. They said, oh, we didn't know, you haven't said anything. Right, because I wanted to hear what they had to say, and they, of course, it was all wrong. I'm thinking, but I didn't say anything.
Right.
I was just silent the whole time. They said, oh, well, you just let us go on and on and on. I said, oh, it's okay. I just was listening because I just wanted to know where you guys needed me to start. And I left it like that.
Yeah.
And that was one of the times where, I listened to Holy Spirit. Like, you don't have to say nothing. You don't have to say your name. You don't have to say your degree. You don't have to say why you're here. Just be in the room.
Yeah.
And that's why, I realized more and more, God's word, it means so many different things. It's so complex. And, but when he reveals different layers of his word, like when he said, my gift will make, your gift will make room for you. Your gift will make room for you. Your gift will make room for you, and so many times I didn't have to say what my gifts were. I was quiet,
right.
And the gift made room for me.
Yes.
And, but like you said, you don't always have to put in your 2 cents. I want to give 3 or 4 cents, but I'm choosing to be quiet.
Yes.
I heard this prophet say, it was her season to study to be quiet. And I didn't get it at first. She said about 4 years ago. And I heard it in my sleep, study to be quiet. And I said, okay. And then the Lord had me reading Proverbs about a fool, talks all the time. I'm like, I don't want to be no fool, Lord. I'm going to shut up. Like you said, when I give my opinions, because you want it. You want to hear what I have to say.
Right, exactly.
So, that's good, Karen. We always.
Here's another one. No one can motivate you better than you.
Ooh.
That's what I learned. Self-motivation is the best motivation.
That's good.
So even, you can have people around you that's saying you can do it, you can start it, you can stop it, you can go back, whatever the case may be, you're still young enough to get married, you're not too old to have a baby, whatever it is, you have people around you that can motivate you. But at the end of the day, self-motivation is the best motivation. Because I can say all day, Irene, girl, dye your hair red. And you're like, I don't know if that's gonna be right. Yes, it is. Yes, I'm telling you, girl, you're gonna be fly, you're gonna be this, you're gonna be that. And I'm going through all of this. And you're like, okay. But not until you want to do that thing. Yes, Irene, go back to school. Get you another PhD. And you're like, okay. Oh, see, look at you. Okay, you can do it. You have the capacity. Okay. But not until you say, I'm going to go ahead and go back to school and get my second doctorate. You actually have to say that. And then you're able to motivate yourself. So again, self-motivation is the best motivation because you're encouraging yourself. So after everyone stops saying it, you'll still keep going because it's what you want to do. So you're getting up in the mirror and you're saying, I can do all things through Christ, because he's going to give me the
Yes.
strength, as far as to do this today. He's going to give me the strength to go out and get that dream job that I want. He's going to give me the strength to be able to pay off all my bills and get the house that I want, whatever it is, that your heart's desire, or whatever it is that you want to do. When people stop motivating you, you're still motivating yourself. So that's the best motivation. So make sure whatever you do, that you are self-motivated in everything that you are doing.
That's really good. That's the word right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other day we were in a meeting, and I was talking to this lady that is developing what's called a quantum computer. I'm not a tech. I mean, I like technology, but I'm not like STEM. Like, you wouldn't consider me like science, technology, that type of person, engineering. But I was so motivated by what she was telling me. Like, she has this idea that's worth $54 billion. And so when we were talking, I was so charged at this Black woman, who's so smart and so wise. And I was like, Lord, and I was thinking about, how did she get to this point? And it's what you said. She was self-motivated. There's not a lot of us in technology. There's not a lot of us in science and math, and not a lot of us that are engineering. She was self-motivated. When she was saying, I was in the room with people that didn't look like me. People told me, we're not good at math and science. Totally false. I did all kinds of research on that. That's not true. We are, but in order to get to that place, you have to be self-motivated. When I decided to go back to school, people try to talk me out of it, but I wanted to do it. When I want to switch careers, people try to talk me out of it, but I wanted to do it. So like you said, people will, you can only listen to people so much. Like you said, when you get it in your heart that that's something that you want to do, all the time people try to lose weight, and they get personal trainers, they get coaches.
Yes. And
they will hold you accountable, but until you get that thing in your spirit, like, I have to lose weight, then you lose weight.
That's it right there.
I get it. I really get it. You have to have self-motivation. And you can bring in an accountability coach to help you when there are days when you're not as disciplined, or you feel a little down. Say, hey, come on, girl, you can do it. But if you got to get that thing in your spirit. So I agree.
Absolutely. And here's another example. It goes back to a couple of years ago, but I remember when it came to me writing my book. Now, you had said it to me, like, Karan, no, I think you should be writing a book. My sister was saying the same thing. I mean, for years, you all were saying this, but it actually had to take me in 2019 and the beginning of 2020 to say, I'm going to do this. Even though you all were right there saying, like, yeah, you should do this. Yeah, you do. I remember Stephanie, she sent me a email, not a text message, an email. I think maybe 2014, she sent an email. It was like, yeah, I don't know where this is coming from. It was God, but she's like, I don't know where this is coming from, but I think you should be writing a devotion. Random, but I don't think so. I shared that with you. You were saying the same thing. And maybe, every now and then throughout the year, you all might say something. I'm like, yep. But then it had to take me. Once I wrapped my mind around it, nobody could stop me. When I say working on it all day, all night, praying about it, like what are my chapters going to be? What am I putting in the chapters? What am I going to say as far as to the people? What is the purpose of my book? Once I wrap my mind around all of that, it was no stopping me.
Your book is good too.
No stopping me. Thank you.
It's good.
To God be the glory. To God be the glory.
Y'all better get that book now, because it's good. Because Karan, you're wise. You're wise beyond your years. You're young, and you have all this wisdom, and the nuggets and things that you share. And it's even more books in you. You and your husband. You guys are very wise people. And I think that, you know, people definitely gravitate to you and him as well. So I think that, you know, what Stephanie and I and other people saw, they just saw that the people need to hear your voice and people need to hear what you have to say. So definitely.
Yeah.
The book is good.
That's self-motivation, y'all.
So I hope her book is still available. Y'all need to get it. We probably could drop the link in this video. So I can go to her store and order the book. It's really good. It's good.
Yes.
You know, kind of.
Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.